Welcome back. Now over to Julia Frazina with your 5-day weather forecast.
Drivers, give yourself extra time tomorrow morning because a winter storm is coming, bringing blowing snow and low visibility. Today is cloudy with periods of light snow with a high of -2. The snow is expected to start falling overnight with a low of -4. Easterly winds may result in blowing snow in many areas this evening through tomorrow. Expect to wake up to 10 to 15 centimeters of snow Friday morning, winds gusting to 60 kilometers an hour, temperatures steady to -4. Things will look brighter on Saturday with a high of -5. Sunday will be a mix of sun and clouds with a high of +2. Periods of rain on Monday with a high of 7. That's all for your weather update. Now back to the newsroom.
Thanks, Julia. Senator Patrick Brazeau has been removed from the Conservative caucus. One of his staff members, Lorraine Rochon, says the Senate caucus was notified of the decision today and the move is effective immediately. Brazeau will continue to sit in the Senate as an independent. Sources told the CBC Thursday the senator is in jail in Gatineau, Quebec, reportedly related to a domestic dispute. Brazeau is also among a number of senators who have come under scrutiny for claiming to live outside of Ottawa and collecting a generous housing allowance.
Tariffs are being blamed for goods having higher price tags in Canada than in the U.S. The Senate Committee on National Finance released a report yesterday explaining why Canadians pay more. The report calls for Ottawa to review its tariff policies, as many of them protect industries that no longer exist. Other recommendations to help lower prices are integrating Canada-U.S. safety standards and increasing the minimum amount of goods that can be shipped duty-free.
The Obama administration is facing an uphill battle today as CIA Director nominee John Brennan heads to Washington. Controversy has overtaken a routine confirmation following the leak of a Justice Department document justifying drone attacks. Brennan will come under intense scrutiny today as Congress seeks to make sense of the now declassified document. Available data shows that drone strikes have killed nearly 4,000 people in Pakistan alone. Amnesty International has also weighed in with calls for Congress to demand drone strikes comply with American and international law.
Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei has rejected an offer for direct talks with the U.S. In a tweet, the Ayatollah said negotiations with the USA won't solve the problem because they've not fulfilled any of their promises in the past 60 years. Khamenei's announcement comes days after American Vice President Joe Biden offered to open a dialogue. Currently, contact between the U.S. and Iran is limited to negotiations in the UN Security Council on Iran's nuclear program.
Canadian Immigration Minister Jason Kenney now says the suspect in a deadly bus bombing in Bulgaria last July is a Lebanese man who gained Canadian citizenship as a boy. Kenney says the man, whose name has not been released, has not lived in the country for 10 years. 6 people were killed by a suicide bomber in the attack. Hezbollah denies any involvement, but Bulgarian officials say they have evidence to the contrary. Kenney is using the man as an example in discussing the merits of a bill that seeks to revoke citizenship for committing acts of terrorism.
And now with your sports update, here's Marco DeMeo.
The Humber Hawks men's varsity volleyball team lost last night against Redeemer 3-1. The loss snapped the Hawks' 5-game win streak. Humber currently sits 3rd in the West Division, and they will host Niagara on February 13th to close their season. The women's varsity volleyball team had some better luck against Redeemer, beating them last night 3-2. It was the women's 17th straight win, and they remain undefeated. They will host Niagara on February 13th for their last game of the season. The Toronto Maple Leafs are visiting the Winnipeg Jets tonight. Last year, the Jets took the season series, winning 2 out of 3 games. Also in action tonight, the Buffalo Sabres are hosting the Montreal Canadiens at 7 p.m. The Habs are looking to bounce back after blowing a 1-0 lead in the 3rd period last night. The Vancouver Canucks are the last Canadian team in action tonight. They will visit their division rivals Minnesota, who are 3 points back of first in the Northwest Division. Alex Ovechkin and the struggling Washington Capitals will visit Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. The Caps are in last place in the NHL with only 5 points in 10 games. The Raptors blew a 10-point lead last night against the Boston Celtics. Kevin Garnett had a season-high 27 points, and the Celtics won their 5th straight game. Andrea Bargnani returned to the Raps after missing 26 games with an elbow injury, and said it was a tough adjustment.
I wasn't able to shoot for 7 weeks, so that for sure didn't help my condition. And but I can't complain. I gotta keep working hard in practice. Practice is gonna be key for me. So every practice I gotta go harder and harder. And hopefully I'm gonna try the right rhythm pretty soon.
The Raptors have their work cut out for them when they visit Indiana tonight to take on the Pacers, who are second in the Eastern Conference and have a home record of 20 wins and 3 losses. Also in the NBA, Commissioner David Stern has said that the group that has reached an agreement to buy the Sacramento Kings has formally filed to relocate the franchise to Seattle. Seattle used to have an NBA franchise, but the Supersonics were moved to Oklahoma City and became the Thunder in 2008. And in exactly 1 year today, the 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi will be underway. It is the first Winter Olympics that Russia has hosted and is projected to be the most expensive Olympics in history, surpassing the $50 billion mark. That record was previously held by Beijing with $40 billion. That's all for sports. Now back to the studio.
Thanks, Marco. Well, that's all for Humber News today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Samantha Martin.
And I'm Basil Rahan. You can also catch us on YouTube. We'll see you next time.